Fix my boobs. Fix them under the mesh. I'm not dressed up crazy this time. I wish I should have dressed up. Hi everybody, it's AlsoAshley. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, we're diving back into Tumblr. Y'all just won't stop asking me questions, and I love every single one of them. I've just been having an absolute blast doing all of these, so we're just gonna keep it going. I get a lot of very positive feedback to these questions. There's a little button at the top of my Tumblr. Yes, Tumblr still exists, and you can ask me a question, and that's what these are. I go through every single one in these videos. I don't skip them, and we're just gonna see what happens. Sometimes they get a little wild. So, you ready? I am. Let's do it. First question. I'm going through a divorce and have wanted to be more feminine for a while. So I guess my question is, how long did it take for you to start showing more feminine after starting HRT? I want breasts and a rounder butt. I get it, but also a more feminine figure. Currently, I'm 53. Is that going to hinder it? I'm a typical man build, square shoulders, big beer belly, flat ass. I'm so curious about it all. I feel like that should go on business cards for all men. They can hand it over and be like, John, square shoulders, big beer belly, flat ass. So my typical start to this, I answer this in much more detail in my upcoming Tumblr vid right here. But I started much later in life. I grew up with a hormone imbalance, so my body was ready for HRT, I feel. It was like a dry sponge anticipating wetness. I don't give much advice in HRT. That is not my place, but I can say within a year of starting, I saw massive changes. I never believe older age to be a deciding factor for trying to live a more fulfilling life. So yeah, I get asked a lot about HRT and things. I get it. I very much get it. You're very curious. There are folks that haven't started or that they want firsthand experience. I will give kind of my own personal experiences like I did there. I will not tell you dosages or exactly what I'm taking. I don't think that's my place. My body is going to be very different from everybody else's body. Growing up with a hormone imbalance, most likely having Klinefelter, which means I was born with XXY chromosomes, puts me in a very different position than a lot of other trans women. So I can't give a definitive answer. It's very different depending on all experiences. I can say that for a long time, my hormones were out of whack due to my imbalance. And I was taking stuff to kind of level me and keep me almost like level in a way, if that makes sense. I eventually switched doctors and worked with someone that was more willing to try stuff. And once that hit, it hit. It hit. So everyone's going to be a little different. Try not to compare yourself so much to other folks as much as just understanding that your journey is your journey. And the only thing that comes with age is hesitation, I feel like, more than anything. Next one. I absolutely love your voice. Oh, thank you. Besides the earlier stated just do voice training, I did talk about that on a video. Did you have a video or anyone to help you with it? I've worked really hard to imitate my voice so I could boy mode for safety and girl mode, but imposter syndrome really sucks. It does. But watching your video helps me a lot, and thank you for that. Oh, that's very sweet. So I said, thank you. This is very sweet to read. I have only ever self-taught. Listening back to myself is a nice trick. I do immediate playback or record on video so I can watch myself talk and mimic the best sounds I see in myself. Basically, like watching my own mouth on camera helps. A lot of this will make more sense once this YouTube video is released. I will give you much better advice on cam, which is right now. Basically, what I'm saying is I do a lot of recording. Doing this helps a lot. So in my earlier video when I said just do it, that's kind of what I mean. It's practicing, rehearsing. What a lot of you aren't seeing is that I'm cutting a lot during these videos, mostly for content, but sometimes I'll get off track, like that. And I'll have a sentence that I say I always find a way to do it. Repeating it and trying it in different styles helps a lot. And it will click. So restructuring a sentence that I've already said. Trying different paces, up and down. And then another aspect is honestly the singing that you see me do, where I just kind of start going into a different voice. That helps. It's just vocal range. So that's just practice. It's finding sentences and then kind of honestly repeating them over and over and over, letting yourself recraft it in a way until you find something that you like, until you find something that you like, until you find something that you like, until you find something that you like. And the trick is you can do this in real time by audio recording and playback, almost through your own headset, like hearing yourself through yourself. But on video, I can actually see my inflection and my facial expressions, and also just kind of find that spot where I can play with it. Placement of voice is a very big change. That's why when you see me do impressions, you can kind of see the different ways that I am finding in my mouth where the voice is coming from. A video of watching yourself, shockingly helpful. It's how I've gotten better. I edit these videos, so I just watch myself talk a lot. I've actually started doing this voice so often that sometimes it's actually harder to slip out of it and go back into the original voice. Is that it? It's not even it. It's not it. There it is. Is that it? It's tough. And if you start in that space and start going up and placing where you want your voice to be, you eventually get there, and then you experiment. So I really wish you luck. I hope that advice is helpful in any way, because I really want everyone to find success in doing this. That's it. So post. Next question. Have you ever worn a cheerleader outfit? Do you know any cheers? I think you're beautiful and always look so great. I have worn a cheerleader outfit. Here it is. It's from Euphoria. I think that was like a Euphoria cosplay, but it was really just an excuse to wear a cheerleader outfit. I've worn the outfits. I don't really have like a cheerleader thing per se. I've just dressed up. I know that's like a thing for a lot of folks. I was a football player, not a cheerleader. So I never got the experience of wearing a uniform until cosplays down the road. Dear Ash, I hope you're doing all right. I had to make up my mind about what to do with you, whether I should still follow your content or not, because I do love your costumes and fashion posts, but lately you're leaning into that e-girl stuff, and I feel like an intruder seeing that. I never wanted to see that, and I realize now why I don't like it. It feels performative, as if you transitioned only to pose for gooners. It's great that this career works out for you, but you don't even have a theme. You wear just about anything anywhere. It is just a role. Being trans is a role for you, one you exploit. It frustrates me to watch, sense, and tell me if I'm wrong. Trans corn hurts trans people in public. When the first and mostly only source where men can see trans women is corn, then that can lead to unrealistic expectations to people in public. Anyway, I wish you the best. Stay safe. Okay, here we go. I'll read this and then I'll go into more detail. Appreciate you sharing your feelings, but my transition isn't a public good. It's my life. Being trans isn't a costume I put on. It's the person I am, whether I'm in sweatpants or in lingerie. If following me brings you joy, I'm glad to have you. If it doesn't anymore, you're free to leave and there's no hard feelings. But my existence isn't harming trans people. What does harm us is demanding we limit ourselves so strangers remain comfortable. Stay well. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me. And that's true. Thank you for sharing your perspectives. I'm open to critique and hearing thoughts. It allows me to have the conversation. That's, my whole thing, talking it out. So let's talk it out a little bit more. So first up, and I've kind of touched base on this in many of my other videos, I didn't transition as a way to represent like every other trans person on Earth. I transitioned to live my own life and, a happier life. I've mentioned that when you're kind of put in a position in which you're kind of being seen as an example, sometimes that isn't your choice and you're kind of forced into that position. Look at Finster. Look at my video about Sadie. I do feel I'm in a unique position where I'm kind of given a platform to speak from, and instead of shying away from that, I happily talk it out. and I'm willing to do that. I, as I've mentioned before, feel like if you have that opportunity, go for it. It's helpful. I get joy out of hopefully bringing joy to others just by talking it out, talking about trans existence in general. I also completely understand the history of trans women being sexualized. Trust me, I also get the nervousness around that, or the uncomfortableness that might come from witnessing or seeing that occur. A lot of guys' first exposure is fetish content. It's also a lot of the first exposure for trans women to experience other trans women, or even come to terms with that. It's just the way our society is built at the moment. Part of the reason behind that is because in the current climate we're in, one of the few places where being trans isn't seen as disgusting or icky or uncomfortable or not true is in a sexual nature, is in that world. So it makes sense that trans women stumbling across a space where you're actually supported and admired, and people talk about you existing as if it's a good, beautiful, gorgeous thing, even if there's aspects of sexualization in that. It makes sense that a lot of trans women lean into those spaces or exist in those spaces safely. The answer to the stereotype of trans people existing in sexualized spaces isn't trans people should be desexualized. I think it's that trans people get to be anything. Messy, sexy, nerdy, boring, academic, tall, short, older, younger, chaotic, just all of it. They can be all of that if they want. So many folks talk about how they want to see trans women as normal, be normal, or I don't have a problem as long as you're whatever. But then when a trans woman does anything a cis woman would do, lingerie shoots or fashion or thirst traps, suddenly it's a crisis, I guess. I don't think the harm is me wearing a cute outfit on Instagram or even pushing my other websites. Go support me. I think more of the harm is coming from telling trans women that their identity is conditional on behaving in a certain way or only sticking to certain types of existence. My transition isn't a performance or a costume, and it's not a role. It is my life. Whether I'm in sweatpants and a hoodie watching anime, or I'm posing in sexy cosplay and asking people to go experience that. There are trans women who model lingerie. There's trans women that code computers. Trans women who are moms and accountants and secretaries and construction workers. And none of those trans women lose validity when they're being sexy. You gain spectrum. And in all honesty, the only reason I can be here even making these YouTube videos is because of the fact that I've been making this sexualized content for 15 years on top of this. The only reason I have the time to exist and inspire and use my platform here is because of that other work. And the honest truth is, I wasn't pressured into that. I like doing it, It's fun. And if my content stopped resonating with somebody, that's totally okay. Nobody's required to stay, but we don't uplift trans people by shrinking ourselves to fit to some stranger's comfort. Be big, be loud, be sexy, be whatever version of yourself feels good for yourself. That's how we change the world. So, I really hope that didn't come across as bitter or angry or rage-filled or anything, because the honest truth is, I'm glad you said that. It allowed me to touch on certain subjects I like talking about. So let me know what you think, and just be you. I just want you to know I absolutely love to your It makes you so much hotter. What a great follow-up. What a great follow-up. I just said this is such a great follow-up comment to my last emotional big deep dive. Thank you. Gotta love Tumblr. Question is, how did you get into directing in the first place? That's not a job you just fall into by chance. I actually went to school for it, joined the commercial world, branched out from there. So yes, I revealed the past career that I used to have was being a director of, it's a very general statement, but commercial, film, short film, animation, all sorts of stuff. I got into that because I've been making films since I was just a wee little lad. So I always knew I was going to go into like media of some kind. All of that stuff has been very helpful in this side of my life now. I kind of had an advantage the entire time. I still can't get over the fact that I used to have like a 60 to 70 hour a week job and then did this for 30 or 40 hours a week as well. Wild, insane, also very, very different. Similar content creation wise, very, very different in how I existed. So, I don't know. One day I'll write a book and I'll put all of this together and I'll tell the story of me being in Haiti during the first democratic elections while simultaneously purchasing my first lingerie set from eBay. Would you date a guy that's 5'7"? Only if you don't know me. My dating profile says, don't date fans. If you have to ask, we can probably go on a date. That's right. I said I have a dating profile now. That's right. I'm on the apps. I did it. I'm on the apps. I found ones that scan your face and verify you. So when I post pictures, then I go scan my face and it goes, oh yeah, no, turns out you're the same person. So that's the trick, you know? Post. You are so very beautiful. I hope to find a girlfriend as beautiful as you. Ah, I love doing these videos. It's not just for the compliments. Part of it. Okay, this is a big one. Thanks for answering my questions. Cosplay, Halloween, seeing you in public, and dealing with IBS when wanting to be taken to Pound Town. I love all of you so much. You hit my profile from the post. Oh no! I'm not sure if that was done on purpose or if my questions were too long to have room for it, but I appreciate it. Oh, they were just too long. I'll try to keep you up there this time. Yeah, they asked me to keep a section of it private, so I'll just answer. So I answer this much more detail in my upcoming Tumblr vid. I will keep it private, direct to you since you asked, which I can do by saying answer privately. I'll answer the public one publicly, you know? Public. Do you find it hard for people who know you do corn to treat you like a human being? I'm sure the people who know you and know what you do treat you just fine. But I'm wondering for the people new to meeting you and know what you do, if it's hard for them not to just sexualize you. God damn, good question. Ties a little bit into the last one too. So this is all themed. It all fits together. Thank you. Here's a perspective you probably haven't heard because these kinds of questions aren't typically asked of someone who does what I do. Once you're over shame around yourself, what you do, an example being, once I overcame the shame associated with how I felt originally about being trans, once you go over that, there's kind of no going back. The biggest amount of shame I had to come over was in dealing with my own identity, not in dealing with the sexy side of things in my life, oddly. One was much harder to overcome than the other, and once I overcame the hardest of them, this one seemed easy. My biggest problem these days is knowing when I should probably hold back that kind of information. Because as someone with no shame around it anymore, it's a job. Sex work is work. And once you're in there, all the outside nervousness and perspective genuinely evaporates. So in the same way that someone's like, oh, I'm a cashier, I would be like, oh yeah, I'm an OnlyFans model. I don't think about it anymore. The only reason I do think about it is because other people. So I try to be courteous for them, which probably isn't my place, honestly, but I like getting along with people and I don't like springing things on folks. And yeah, I guess the question on if folks treat me like a human being when they hear what I do. This is a sad answer. I'm not used to most folks treating me like a human being. It's that I just said that, right? I will eternally get more shit for being trans than being a corn worker or whatever you want to call it, you know? Yeah. I guess that goes on the bigger topic of skewed perspective. Probably a lot of trans folks can relate to this. In dealing with such heavy shit, things that you would think would have more impact are almost lessened by it. That makes sense? I'll give you an example. Often when straight men want to make fun of me online, there'll be waves, weirdly, where they'll pop in and be shitty to me and they'll call me fat. They'll just be like, oh, you're fat. And that doesn't get to me. It's a shitty thing to say to anybody, and even just like use that term to describe anybody is makes you a gross person. But like that just does nothing to me. I feel nothing when they do that. First off, I'm confident, love my body, so whatever. But the second thing is like, if you really think that calling me fat is going to throw me off of my game or upset me, oh, buddy, you should see what I've been called and what I have to deal with. So in a strange way, that kind of applies to a lot of other levels in my life or my existence. So 1000% me coming out and being like, I'm trans, this is me, eternally so much harder than coming out as an OnlyFans model, as a solitary enthusiast model. OF, solitary enthusiast. It's a funny joke. I'm never going to stop. The people who know me and have known me, when they hear about that side of my life, the funniest aspect of it, honestly, is that they don't really want to talk about it. They don't ask a lot of questions. I think that's just general human uncomfortableness around it. Once you're in the water, though, you're just used to the water. You have a lot less hangups and stress around it. I'm wondering for the people new to meeting you and know what you do, if it's hard for them not to just sexualize you. God, these are good questions. It's hard to answer because I'm enveloped in it. I think that there's probably an initial aspect of sexualization immediately, of course. My hope is that folks realize there's more to me than that. And as they get to know me more, they'll realize that. It's also just an aspect of our society that kind of sucks. When I first started making YouTube videos and talking and saying words out loud, it was kind of shocking how many folks came forward and were like, oh, well, damn. I mean, you're pretty and you're hot and you're sexy. I'm pretty shocked that you can like string two words together. And I think that says a lot more about society and how it views folks like me more than it says about me. So there you go. Hi. Hey. Honey, I want to help you. I really do. I love your fashion. I love the costumes. You have a good sense of style and fashion, but you don't have a good sense of photography. Your backgrounds are chaotic and noisy, and the framing of the object of you is decent at best and sloppy at worst. I want to help you be a better photographer, please. Chat me on Discord. Getting a lot of criticism on this one. So here's a little thing for all you out there. I'm an award-winning photographer. So this is just kind of a funny critique. I won't be bitter about this or taking the critique because I think I understand where this is coming from. Yes, compare these two photos. Here we go. Which one do you think does better online? The answer is the one that feels more natural. So that's the trick. It's marketing for me. I used to do a professional style photo shoot for every single one of my cosplays and costumes and outfits. I shot them and light them and took hours and did all of this work. I still do that. Only this time I mimic a more natural feel because, I mimic a more natural feel. And then honestly, I take more natural photos more often because I realized that does better online. People interact with it more. The reality aspect of it, the kind of clutter, clumsiness, the casual feel of it speaks to people much more than a professional photo in the same setup. So when I do professional photo shoots, they look a certain way. And when I do a more casual look, they look a certain way. And I've just found more success in leaning into the more casual, kind of messy feel of it. So it is actually, you said chaotic and noisy. It's controlled chaos and noise. It is very intentional. So this is not an insult to me. This is just interesting. Where are you from? Seattle, Washington State. Post. Do you do hookups? Nope. Narp. You ever do meetups? I live in the Seattle area. Would love and you I'll just do the thing where I beep all of that out. I just said all at once. You got some talent. I must look like such a bitch when I post that kind of answer, but it is. Hi, Ashley. Loving your pics. You have great tits and a nice body. Would you like a hot pic of me? What do you think? Do we want a hot pic? I prefer a nice chilled pic of you. Maybe holding some kind of nice iced wine cooler. Whatever happened to wine coolers? They still around? Ooh, I want a wine cooler now. It's the middle of winter. I'm like, wine cooler. Next time I go paddleboarding, wine coolers for everyone. I feel like that was a thing when I was growing up. All the women sipping on their wine coolers. Not an ask, but I've been watching your videos on Twitter. Your personality and sense of humor are both top notch. Oh, that is very sweet. You are so sweet. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's worth? Oh, heaven is a place on earth. We're doing good on this video. All right, we're going to reset. Going to do the thing I normally do. I refresh. We're going to see if any new questions come in while I was doing my thing, answering. There they are. I love it. I love this so much. You guys rule. Can you please share where you get your lingerie? Every picture of you, sis. I'm envious, Amy. Oh, that's very sweet. I answer this in much more detail. Honey Burdette, Hello LA Girl, and Adore Me. Those are just 3. Victoria's Secret's on there. Just it's everywhere is really the answer. But those 3 are probably the most specific for the styles I like. Hello LA Girl is really cute and simple. Honey Burdette, obviously, I've been a fan of theirs forever. I've spent way too much. My lingerie wardrobe is insane and mostly Honey Burdette. And I don't want to tell you how much I spent on that. Adore Me is really fun because it's like a subscription. So every month you get to pick a set and it gets sent to you. I signed up for that. Here we go. I signed up for that a long time ago when I was still a guy because it forced me to have to buy a lingerie set every month with this subscription. So it felt like I was tricking myself into buying this stuff. You understand what I'm saying? I subscribed and then suddenly lingerie was showing up on my doorstep every month. And I'm stuck. It's a subscription. I'd have to cancel it. It's this whole ordeal. I have to. It was like this little weird pressure thing to make me dress up and wear it, you know? So, you are gorgeous and sexy. Yay! Look, I'm never gonna get tired of people telling me I'm beautiful, you know? Come on, Ashley, where are you keeping all your archive pics online? I admit to having finger trouble. I might have deleted the link. I love looking back at the pic history. Love me. Wait, is that like love me or love me? I'll choose to be love me. Most of my stuff is still on my Patreon. Plug for my Patreon from all the way back to like a decade ago. It's true. I don't take sets down every month. I just leave everything. So you sub once. Welcome to 15 years of Ashley. Maybe what they're talking about is otherwise my old Tumblr account was nuked years ago. That's on Tumblr. Tumblr decided to nuke my old account back when it had like 250,000 followers. That's where a lot of my old archive stuff is. But honestly, if you want to go look up archive stuff, people do it. I've never had to archive it. I just keep posting to my Patreon and my OF and my Fansly, and everything just sits there. It's still there. It's accessible. But I don't go build like archives of my old posts. Fans do that, or other folks. It's very cool. Yeah. Which would you rather have fun with? A man's man, a lingerie girly dreamboat, or someone that can do both? D, one of each at the same time. Why limit yourself? How did you get such good curves? I'm so jealous of your Japan pic. All the Japanese feeds. But really lots of elliptical running. Love that elliptical. I have like the biggest ass on the planet. Can I say that? Can I say that here? Can I finally just admit that on camera? There's a reason I'm successful at what I do. Ashley, what has happened to your second account? I think that's the same person. I don't know what you mean. Hi, Ashley. I follow your progress for several years now. I'm so impressed of your development. I so often thought, wow, you really reached your transition goal, and then sometime later you topped that once again. I'm so happy for you. A personal question, if that's okay. Do you think your preferences in other people, romantic, sexual, platonic, have changed due to your transition? It's probably hard to tell as other factors such as time and life situation also influence this, but what's your guess? I love your blog and your new video. All the best. Oh, that's very sweet. This one, I will not type out. I will answer. I have always existed in a state of if someone's hot, they're hot. That could mean and apply to many folks in my dating pool. Granted, I will say the more I've adapted to HRT and hormones and the way I balance. I was just talking to a friend about this the other night. I do have preferences. I'm a big like alt girl fan. I love alt girls. Alt girls with short hair. Whew. But more so, I've noticed that I like older guys with a little gray who are really put together. So that feeling, yeah, I think it's always been there. All of that across the board. It's just, it's kind of like putting on different glasses, maybe, different prescriptions where you go, oh no, different. Binoculars. It's like having binoculars in the little dial that you fiddle with and your depth changes. And I, in general, have a very wide range of depth. And sometimes, depending on the mood I'm in or where I'm going, it hones in on specific things. But yeah, right now, if you're an older guy with silver hair, who's a little bit controlling, and thinks I'm hot, me, please. Some. You know what? I expect nothing less from butt pounder for you. Username makes a lot of sense here. Hi, how are you? I wish to beat you. Come to Dubai. I'll pay you everything. Ha! Is that a reference? Is that a reference to my old Tumblr video? Tricky. Oh, what was the best sex you had like? Do you know craft singles? If you take a craft single and then you around it and then it gives you the taste of and when that all it makes for what's known as chilling topping. So pretty much that. I'm ridiculous. Do you like to back? I only front. I don't know what that means. I'll end with this one. This has been sitting in my Tumblr inbox for a while, and I've never answered it, but I can answer it now. Hi, Ashley. I hope I'm not being too straightforward, but have you ever made any movies? I can now say yes. I have. Well. Will I go into more detail? No. I won't. Okay, we did it. We are at the end of Tumblr. Just so you all know, you can always jump on there and keep asking questions. They build up. There's always a ton of them. I still have a backlog of like 1,000, so we'll get there one day eventually. But thank you for watching. Thank you for coming with me on the ride. I love making these videos. It feels like I get to know all of you better. It cracks me up. It makes me happy. It makes me euphoric. We have really in-depth conversations about stuff that I want to talk about. So I appreciate every aspect of every question that comes at me. Please, please, please like the video. Let's do it. Make more Tumblrs. But yes, I had a really great time. So thank you for being here. But until I see you again on the next video, be hot. Resist fascism. Bye. End credits. So I'm just going to scroll way the hell down and we're going to answer a question from an eternity ago. This is what I mean, by the way, when I say that I have a lot of these. And stop. S. S is for the way you look tonight.